Once upon a time, there lived a very important man named d'Este. He did his best to spread his word. He did his best to help those in need. He aspired for spiritual greatness. And for a moment, it almost seemed possible. His name was considered. His power was recognized. His ambition was clear. But in the end, the decision was made. Without him, he was not chosen. The title went to someone else. The future he imagined, disrupted. And just like that, his story could have ended in quiet disappointment. But it didn't. If he could not control the church, he would control something else. Something physical, something visible, something no one could ignore. He would build a place so powerful, so overwhelming, that people would forget what he failed to become. This was no longer just architecture. This was a response, a statement, maybe even a little bit of revenge. But this would not be a simple place of walls and gardens. It would be made of forces, lines pulling, spaces shifting, and systems layered on top of each other. Not everything would be equal. Some directions would be stronger than others. In his mind, this place was perfect. Everything would follow a system. Everything would obey. Water would not flow. Freely it would be directed. Paths would not wander. They would guide. Views would not be accidental. They would be composed. This would be a world where nothing was left to chance, a landscape of total control. But control, as it turns out, is a complicated thing. This story does not end here, it simply turns the page. Another book now opens, Networks, Circulation. Within this world, movement does not follow a single path. It wanders. Roots split, curve, and reconnect, creating a rhythm of motion and pause. Moments of stillness give way to moments of transition, each unfolding naturally. With every turn, the journey shifts, offering new views, new feelings, new ways of understanding the land. Everything reveals itself over time, networks and terraces. The ground begins to move beneath each step. It rises and falls in layered terraces, shaped by the slope rather than resisting it. Each level quietly guides the path forward, aligning movement with the land itself. Here, the place is no longer still. It becomes a guide, gently leading the way. Networks catch bull's weather. Not all paths can be seen. Some travel through the air. Warmth drifts across open spaces, while cool air settles into shadowed ground. Light shifts, colors soften, and the atmosphere changes with each step. Like a silent traveler, the wind moves through everything felt, but never held. Gravity. Slope with water and gardens. Once on a sloping hillside, water found its path. Guided only by gravity, it flowed through gardens, feeding roots and filling fountains. The land and water moved as one, creating a quiet, living system, roads and surrounding landscape. Paths stretched across the land like lines in a story. They guided movement not with force, but with suggestion, through trees, hedges, and hidden views. The landscape itself became the narrator, revealing and concealing as one moved through it. Ecological and social hierarchy. At the highest points, power gathered. Where water first arrived and views reached far. As the land descended, so did status, flowing downward like the water. Plants followed their own order, growing where life allowed. Everything, human and natural, was shaped by precision and flow, architecture and engineering. At the center stood a hidden wonder, the water organ. A system of pressure and flow turned water into sound. Here, architecture and engineering became one, transforming control into beauty. Once upon a time in the grand and carefully crafted gardens of Villa d'Este, there existed not only beauty, but quiet disruptions, hidden beneath the surface like secrets waiting to be told. A special map was created, not to show perfection, but to reveal the truths beneath the garden's elegance. Flowing across the page, a river appeared in thick blue lines, twisting and breaking apart as it journeyed through the land. It was no ordinary river. It told the story of instability, of water struggling to remain where it once flowed freely. Around it, deep cracks spread through the earth, whispering of drought. as if the land itself was slowly fracturing under unseen pressure. Beneath the surface, a hidden tunnel stretched quietly through the ground, carrying water in silence. Though rarely seen, it was the lifeline of the fountains above, a secret system working in the shadows. Above ground, footsteps filled the garden. Some were heavy and crowded, marking the presence of many visitors, while others faded into soft, dotted traces, echoes of a time when movement suddenly stopped. Paths stretched outward, reaching beyond the garden walls, connecting to distant roads and the constant pull of the outside world. At the heart of the story rested a papal tiara symbolizing a dream, once held by Ippolito II d'Este, or sure a dream that was never fulfilled. From this disruption, the garden itself was born. Lines overlapped and tangled, showing how water, movement, and human ambition collided rather than aligned. And through it all, wild vegetation crept beyond its boundaries, slowly reclaiming what was once controlled. Layer upon layer, the map revealed a different truth, that this garden was never perfect. Instead, it was alive, shaped, disrupted, and transformed by the forces that moved through it, both seen and unseen. On to the next story, Short Rhythms. Once upon a time in the sloping lands of Tivoli, a map was formed not just of paths, but of stories. It gathered fragments of past ideas and wove them into a single journey, where every direction guided a traveller through senses, memories, and time itself. At the heart of this map lay a central path, stretching across the land like a quiet thread, connecting moments of sight, sound, and history. As the traveller wandered toward the edges, the world shifted into myth. Statues rose, each one whispering tales of the past. Water flowed between them, not only as movement, but as music. The fountain sang softly, ripples echoing like harps, birds chiming in harmony, and breezes carrying gentle rhythms through the air. Water shaped everything. It carved, powered the fountains, and revealed the strength and ambition behind the architecture. Yet the garden did not follow only one path. Though some walked in ordered rhythms along grand routes, others drifted into hidden corners, tracing their own stories. Workers moved quietly through wider paths, maintaining the beauty, while footprints scattered across the land revealed the constant motion of life. Humans, animals, and nature intertwined. Even the climate played its role, shifting moods and experiences throughout the day. In the end, all these small rhythms came together, forming a living story of power, memory, and connection. The last story. Long Rhythms. Once upon a time, a map unfolded like a quiet storybook, revealing a world shaped not by moments, but by long, patient rhythms. At the bottom of the page, small plants began their gentle journey. Tiny sprouts pushed through the soil, slowly growing, changing, and reaching toward the sky. Seasons passed in silence, and the land transformed with them, telling a story of time moving softly but endlessly forward. Through the heart of this world flowed a bright blue river, carving its path from top to bottom. It carried whispers from distant places, connecting the surface to something far greater, as if the land itself were alive. Around it, the earth shifted. Hills softened, edges crumbled, and deep below, stone and bedrock moved in slow, unseen ways, shaping the land over ages. Above, the sky joined the tale. A glowing ring of the moon circled gently, while the sun traced wide arcs across the heavens. Together, they guided the passage of days and nights, weaving time into the land. And within this great cycle, people gathered in celebration, returning year after year, their lives quietly tied to the rhythms of nature. Across the map, textures faded and reappeared like memories. Surfaces wore down, only to begin again, showing that nothing ever truly disappears. It simply becomes something new. And so, this was the story of Long Rhythms, a living world where time, earth, water, sky, and human life moved together in an endless, ever-changing dance. And as the last ripple fades, the garden falls quiet. Its hidden rhythms remain, waiting to begin again. the end.